Hello pilots and welcome to MotionRC.com. I'm your product specialist Wesley, and today we are checking out the all new, completely redesigned A-10 64mm. Now this model came out a few months ago, but I finally had a chance to really take you around it. I've had a lot of fun flying this airplane and getting to know it. Now, this one was a big one for me because when it came out, it filled a sweet spot in the A-10 size range that hasn't been done yet, and it really is about the perfect size model for most guys. Whether you have a grass strip or if you have paved runway, you're gonna have a blast with this airplane. And the looks of these new models that are completely retooled, I'm amazed all the time when I see the details of how good Freewing aircraft are really getting now. Not only do you get a phenomenal flying aircraft, but you get one that's really ready to go into a display. You could hang this thing up in the corner of your office and have a wonderful looking aircraft just for people to see. Now, it's time for us to actually start going over some of the changes. One of the biggest ones is everything, haha. So starting up on the front of the little 64 A-10, you have the GAU Gatling gun that is molded in plastic and really gives that scale appearance. And then you also have the Warthog decal pre-applied from the factory, along with all the nomenclature and the danger decals that you want to see on one of your models. You're also going to see it has simulated rivet detail and panel lines all around this aircraft, but they're very prominent up here on the front. Had to get this spot right on the aircraft. You also have a detailed cockpit with instrument panel and heads-up display, and a fully modeled pilot figure up there in the front. As we move back a little bit further, you're going to come to the battery bay hatch on the top panel here. Now, speaking of the battery bay, you're going to notice that the top hatch has two brass connectors inside of it. These pass power up to the blinking strobe navigation light that's mounted on the top of the fuselage. The reason they did that is so you can take your hatch on and off without having to worry about those wires being attached to that light. So this is a nice little quick connect feature they've been putting in a lot of the Freewing models lately. The battery bay is plenty ample. I fly up to a 5,000 milliamp Admiral pack in mine, but of course you can fly with lighter packs, no issue if you would like a lighter wing load. Now, the A-10 does not come with a factory installed gyro, but in my case, I was able to couple my ER8 Radiomaster transmitter receiver to an EG01 Freewing gyro. The cool thing about using one of these Freewing gyros in your Freewing aircraft is there is a model template set up in the Freewing app for all of the aircraft in the lineup right now. Just a few simple buttons, and we do have a quick tip on how to actually put those into your models. Moving back a little bit further, you're going to come to the nacelles. This is where it houses your two 64mm fans along with your ESCs, and they have quick bullet connects underneath that make putting the nacelles on so easy. For anybody that's had an A-10 in the past, you can know the hardest part of assembling one is putting these nacelles on and tucking all the wires in. So Freewing figured out a way to make that a lot cleaner and a lot easier. Now, as we move back to the tail of the aircraft, this does have embedded hinges into the foam, so you're not going to have to worry about those breaking over time, and you'll also see you have those embedded nylon hinges on your rudders. For the wings of the A-10, they are the Freewing Quick Connect wings, and all of your missiles and ordnance on this aircraft are on the Freewing Quick Connect rail system. So whether you want to fly with ordnance or without the ordnance, it's as simple as can be to just clip those on and off. Now, one of the really cool things, even in this size range now, is the lighting package Freewing put on this aircraft. You have your navigation lights out on both wingtips. You have formation lights up on the front of the aircraft and formation lights on the rudders of the aircraft. A scale landing light on the nose gear and a navigational beacon on the turtle deck. This really gives it a great scale appearance, especially for a model in this size range. Another big upgrade from the original predecessors of this aircraft are the landing gear. You now have full machined aluminum suspension oleo style shock absorbing struts all the way around. You have bulletproof Freewing retracts in this aircraft, and all of the mounting system inside of the aircraft has been beefed up as much as we can to make these some of the strongest landing gears ever provided in one of these small aircraft. Now, another really cool scale feature to the landing gear is all the little doors. If you'll see, when the gear goes up, you have a door on the front gear that pulls up behind it. You have an actuated nose gear door that's going to come up on a servo. For your rear landing gear, you're going to see there are two attached gear doors also that are pulled up with the gear to close it up. It really gives this thing a crazy scale appearance. Underneath the aircraft, it also has all the scale antennas. These are friction fit and removable for transportation. Now, for battery sizes on this aircraft, what I like to fly is either a 5,000 milliamp or a 4,000 milliamp Admiral battery. On the screen right now, I'm going to show you right where I put mine to hit the CG. And speaking of CG, it actually comes with pre-molded CG marks under each of the wings. So pick it up by those marks. If the aircraft hangs nice and neutral, you know you have your CG in a great place to start flying your first flights. All right, pilots, so at this point, let's go over our rates and our expo settings for the A-10. For my aileron rates, my high is right at about 27 millimeters. My mid rate is right at 20 millimeters. And my low is right at 15 millimeters. My aileron expo rates are 30% on high rate, 20% on mid rate, and 20% on low rate. For my elevator high rate, I have 20 millimeters. For my mid rate, I have 15 millimeters. And for my low, I have 10 millimeters. My expo call out is 30% for my high rate, 30% for my mid rate, and 20% for my low rate. For my flaps, I have 20 millimeters of down deflection for mid rate or takeoff flaps. And for full landing flaps, I have 40 millimeters of deflection. You could go a little bit less, but I like it to stop really quickly with full flaps. I also have my flaps set to a 2-second slow down deployment and retraction. For my rudder channel, I have 100% throw with 30% expo. Well, all right, pilots, this has been our deep dive overview into the all-new 64mm A-10, a very welcome model that came into the line this year, and I finally got a chance to show you all around it. So if you haven't checked one of these out, they've been taking over flying fields everywhere. I know a lot of guys have absolutely been loving this aircraft, and I think you would too if you haven't already got one. Well, guys, I'm Wes from right here at motionrc.com, and remember, whether it's air, land, or sea, Motion RC has everything you want, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.